What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with an unboxing video. I have two vintage mint on cards that I recently picked up. One of them on eBay in an auction dating back to maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that arrived from Australia that goes along with my Bossk run. And then one I picked up in a epic trade with Chris W. from Rogue 5 Toys and from 5 Idiots Talking Toys podcast and on YouTube. So I wanted to go through those really quickly. Both of them are kind of character foci for my collection. And I wanted to bring out my Empire Strikes Back mint on card Bossk the Bounty Hunter, the Trandoshan Lizard Man. I've got 3 ESB card backs here. I also, of course, do have a Palitoy Tri-Logo as well as some Return of the Jedi cards. But for this video, I thought I'd just pull out the ESBs. The first one is the UKG 90% Toy Tony. Obviously, this was assembled after the fact and before the grading companies knew what was going on. I've talked about that at length at my channel, but this is a really nice example of the General Mills card back with the German language on the back. So even though it's a Toy Tony and part of that epic Toy Tony scandal, I did think it was pretty cool to add that one to my collection last year. And really nice example. The next up is an offerless ESB card. This one is the 41 back D I picked up last year. Beautiful unpunched card, a little bit of wear around the hang tab there, but just a really nice example. This one is graded 80 by CAS. 80, 80, 85 are the subscores, so 41 back D for that one. And here's the back of the card there. It's got the Millennium Falcon, the Cloud Car, and the Slave one there, and then some of the other kind of play sets and things like that. But this one's got the blue background with all the figures inside. And then this is the 41A with the survival kit offer. More on that a little bit later on. But this is a beautiful survival kit, 41A Bossk unpunched, and this is another one I purchased last year and showed on the channel several times. This one is graded 80 by CAS. 80, 85, 80 are the subscores, so 41 back A, and of course there's a survival kit offer. So I did finally pick up one that I wasn't sure if I'd ever pick one up, but I was able to pick this one up for multiple reasons, which we'll go over. But this is the 32 back B, the poor man's debut card for Bossk. His true debut card is the 31 back A, but that one is extremely expensive. There are not a lot of examples out there for that. I've seen a few on Facebook in collectors' hands, even one for sale last year that he wanted big money for. I believe it was an AFA 60, and I think he was looking for between $3,000 and $4,000 for it, if memory serves. But you know, very, very high grade example. 31 back A's are very few and far between. I believe, I'm going on memory, so don't quote me on this, but when AFA and their population report had the 31 back A's, and you could look them up, I think there were less than 20 of those that exist on the population report. So, and that's across all grades. So it's very, very tough to find. So the next best option is this one, the 32 back B. This is a pretty nice example. It is punched, and it does have a nice crystal clear blister. Beautiful example. And this one has the older style grade. This is the first time I've ever bought a mint on card vintage Kenner Star Wars item with only one grade. And so these were before AFA moved over to subgrade. So this is graded 80 near mint, 32 back B. So a really nice example. And if you guys follow me on Instagram and elsewhere, you guys have probably already seen my photo of this. But, you know, I've heard, I don't know if this is a fact, but I've heard that AFA was a lot more strict when they only had a single score for these mint on card items. So obviously this one's graded 80 near mint, and apparently they were a lot more strict. I don't know if that's true or if that's what people tell themselves for having the older style cases. I don't know, but I'm okay with it. I mean, it's certainly every bit of an 80 grade. It's in pretty fantastic condition. I've looked it over pretty carefully, and it's absolutely deserving of an 80 score, near mint score. So here is the back of it. But, you know, this is the earliest Bossk I have in terms of card backs, and probably will be. I don't, unless I win the lottery, I'm never going to get a 31 back A. It's just too expensive. So more than happy to have this one as my kind of, you know, poor man's debut card. But there's Yoda in the upper left-hand corner, so you know it's the 32 back, but gorgeous card, and very happy about it. I got this in an eBay auction from Australia. And I can't remember the seller's name, but I think it's Lumat2. We covered a number of his sales on the channel here recently. He's been auctioning off a lot of his collection. And I got to tell you, his packing job was absolutely incredible. So shout out to Lumat2 over on eBay. If you are in the US and you're worried about shipping from overseas and shipping from Australia, you do not need to worry about it with this seller. He absolutely bomb-proofed it. It was double boxed with lots of padding. I mean, it was just perfectly packaged, and it arrived safe and sound. So let's just do a quick close-up here so everyone can see just how clean this one is. Just in really fantastic condition. I mean, I would say if this was regraded, it might hit an 80 plus. It's just, I don't really see much wrong with it at all. There's no edge wear to it at all on the front of the card. On the back of the card, let's see if we can find anything here. I mean, this is every bit of an 80, if not an 80 plus, really. And I would wager that if this was, you know, if for some reason this was cracked open carefully and resubmitted, it would probably get an 80 plus grade. It's just in that good a condition. Just no veins anywhere. Just really, really pretty. So I personally believe that what I told you about AFA's grading standards when they only had a single score like this one are absolutely true. That this is much more strict than it would get nowadays in terms of a score. I'm pretty confident that this would get an 80 plus just based on the condition of this one. But it is just absolutely pristine. There's no blister issues with it at all. It's pretty much perfect. So really surprised it's only an 80, but you know, that's what I've read. And again, I don't know if that's true or not. If you're being really picky, you could argue that there's a little bit of wear around the hang tab right here. But and let's see if we can get it to focus just a little bit better. You know, right in here, you could see just a little bit of wear, but that's really it. There's a couple of very, very minor marks of edge wear to it, but relative to some of the other 80s in my collection that are mint on card vintage Kenner items, this is in much better condition than some of those. So very, very happy with this, and you can buy from that seller on eBay with absolute confidence. Now let's take a quick break here and let me pull out the second one that I picked up in an epic trade with Chris W. over at Rogue 5 Toys on Facebook. The second mint on card that I picked up is related to the 41 back A, which is the survival kit offer. Obviously, we just looked at the 41A Bossk that's graded 80 with CAS, but I wanted to pull out my other 41As that I have in my collection. You obviously have just seen fairly recently when I did my year in review video, but this is the Dengar that I picked up from Rogue 5 Toys. This is a beautiful item, and that one is graded 85 with CAS. Here's one I have not shown on the channel in a long time, if ever, I don't remember, but this is a gorgeous example of the 41A Ugnaught, and this is a gorgeous unpunched card. No price sticker on that one, and that one is graded 85. The sub-scores are 80, 85, 85, 41 back A Ugnaught. So love that card back, love the card image on that one. The other one I've shown here recently is the Leia Hoth with the red hair. That one is graded 85 plus with CAS. And again, that one was from Rogue 5 Toys and Chris W. Thank you again, Chris. He also hooked me up with this one several years ago. I don't remember exactly what year, but this is the 41A Luke Skywalker in Bespin fatigues with the blonde hair. And that one is graded AFA 80, 80, 85, 75 are the sub-scores on that one. So really nice. And then now I've got my sixth 41 back A, and that is the Death Star droid. So I traded with Chris. I had a loose graded figure that Chris really wanted, and it was one that I didn't particularly care about keeping in my collection. So I sent him that one, and he sent me the Death Star droid. So I do have another Death Star droid. I've got 7 mint on card Death Star droids. If I remember, I'll take a photo of all of them together for the end of the video, but just a gorgeous example of the Death Star droid on the 41A, and here are the sub-scores. 80, 85, 85 are the sub-scores for an overall 80 near mint. It's got a little bit of wear around the top of the card back there, but it is a gorgeous unpunched card, and here's the back as well. So just in fantastic condition. Chris, thank you again so much for the deal. I believe yours is going to be arriving today as of the making of this video. So very happy to not spend any money and instead just do a straight trade. But you know, I would love to get the 47 back 4-LOM offer Death Star droid. That's one I do see fairly regularly, but for some reason they are almost always yellowed. I don't know why. The blister is always yellowed on those when I see them come up available. And then obviously the transition card, the Empire Strikes Back 21 back with the secret Star Wars action figure offer related to the Bossk mail away. That would be another one I'd love to get, but that one is very, very pricey. We just saw one sell at Hakes that went for big, big money, but maybe sometime down the line I can add the 21 back or the 47 back 4-LOM offer for this Death Star droid. But there is also an offerless, I would assume the 41 back offerless Death Star droid, but apparently that one's very, very rare and not made in big numbers, so not one I'll probably ever have. But the 21 back and the 47 back are two that I'll definitely keep an eye out for if money ever becomes available, which it's not right now. But just a gorgeous example. Thank you again, Chris. Here's another close-up just before we end the video. And as always, I'll put a kind of a photo collage at the end of this video so you guys can take a closer look at my carded run for Bossk and for the Death Star droid. Thank you again for watching, and I'll be back soon.